Hello viewers, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome now for a conversation Ms. Alincia Williams-Grant. She's President of the Senate, Antigua and Barbuda. Thank you so much for joining us on this program. To begin with, talk to us about your overall experience, 2 days of discussions and deliberations about how to strengthen parliamentary cooperation. What do you see as the key messages emerging out of this very important event?
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's such a delight to be in your country. It's been cold, but today has been very, very warm, and we've enjoyed immensely the hospitality of your beautiful people. I think fundamentally the key message has always been the relevance and importance of legislators, parliamentarians, in the practice and preservation of democracy and the safeguards of our people who we serve. And so, especially today, that resonated with me. When we speak with each other and share our experiences, we realize that in as much as you have millions to serve and we may have a few thousand, we all have the same charge to look after the welfare and well-being of the people that we serve. And so it's tremendous to be in the company of all the parliamentarians that have committed themselves to service and to learn and take away these practical advice and experiences that we can grow and strengthen our democracies.
You spoke about CSPOC being significant in terms of exchange of ideas, sharing of best practices. So if I may ask you, the 28th CSPOC is nearing completion. What is the most significant outcome that you see coming out in terms of the discussions and deliberations that have taken place over the last 2 days? Most importantly, also some of the timely and relevant themes that were critical to this edition of the CSPOC.
Well, today, as I said, in particular, we spoke about the safety, welfare, and well-being of our parliamentarians. And if we are not able to provide for ourselves, our care, our well maintenance, then how do we provide for the care and well-being of others? The example in the UK, for instance, about the bringing the healthcare service into the parliament because we're so busy doing the business, doing people's work, resonated with me as well. It's something that we don't take time out to appreciate, that we need to care for ourselves. We never have the time to go to the doctor. And they have found a way to bring that service to the parliamentarians, and particularly also in relation to security. We see the tumultuous times that we're living in and the widespread use of social media. It's now the 11th appendage to every person, not just the youth, but everyone has access to the digital age, and the impact that that has on our lives as parliamentarians, the security issues that plague us, as women in particular, the cyberbullying, the fact that we really need to take stock and provide the infrastructure, the legislative infrastructure in some jurisdictions to protect our democracies, and particularly our members of parliament, is something that I didn't appreciate as much as I think I've done so in the past 2 days. So there's much more, but those were the ones that really have cemented in my mind that I need to go home and see how best we can improve on what we have.
How relevant and important have platforms like CSPOC been in sharing perspectives, wider ideas pertaining to some of the shared challenges that democracies face today?
Well, let me take you back to 12 years ago, or just about 12 years when I was first appointed. I call it baptism by fire. I'm a practitioner, attorney at law by profession, and I was appointed with no experience in public service. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what this platform entailed. I thought, yes, I lead the charge and preside over the sessions, but there was something missing. And I think the CSPOC and the CPA and other international bodies have allowed me to develop platforms. For instance, we do a number of mentoring programs in our parliament with our young women. We have one for teenage girls. We have another for 18 to 30-year-olds, which we're now in the middle of completing or undergoing the second session for the 18 to 30-year-olds. We just had orientation yesterday. And empowering women, finding opportunities to engage women in public life, in public service, in private sector, to help them to understand that they too have a voice in the parliamentary process. And so these meetings, these groupings, help me to understand what others are doing and to see how we can tailor what others are doing to fit our needs and to advance the cause of democracy.
You spoke about empowering women. You'll be happy to know that in the last few years, India has taken multiple initiatives at the policy level, at reforms level, to not just empower women, but help them rise to leadership positions. As a woman who's inspired so many young women, I'm sure back home look up to you as an inspiration. Would you like to share with our viewers about some initiatives that you are taking, particularly for young women, to nurture their dreams and make it big, say, in politics? Because usually we see politics is not seen as a mainstream career for women, because it's not deemed to be safe, and it's you spoke about bullying of different kinds at cyberbullying, but I think when women make it big and women are independent and decision makers, they have to go through a lot of challenges at multiple levels, and that's why politics is not something that used to be considered safe for them. Times are changing, but it's still a long way to go to say that we are inching closer towards a gender equal world. So some initiatives, some steps that you think you could take or you have already been taking in your country, which we would be happy to know about.
Well, I'm impressed by the work that the women have been doing here in India. And on the occasion of our arrival, I met with one of your female leaders, and she spoke to the impact that the work of the women have been having in the community here. And just like what you expect to see happen in your country, where the voices of women are added to the leadership level in the parliamentary process, that is our greatest expectation. Currently, we have only one woman serving in the elected house. We have now about 6 of the appointed in the upper house, but only 1 out of 17 women. And the first time we had a woman serving in parliament was in 2004. Then we had 2, and now we're back down to 1. And so we have tremendous work to do. What we have been doing, as I've said, we have developed a number of mentoring programs to encourage not just women, the ones who would have already made up their minds that they've chosen a particular path of discipline, attorney, accountant, florist, whatever it is, but to target the youth in particular, the young ones. So we start as early as primary school. We go out to them, we read to them about parliament, civic responsibility. We had an initiative last year, 2 years ago, now 2024, where the parliamentary staff, members of the parliament, and went into the schools, read the books about the parliamentary process, the importance of lobbying to see political change in your school, and that is at the primary school level. We also have the secondary school, where we have a mentoring program called the President's 10, introduced in 2006 or 7, I believe it is. And we've had at least 32 young women who have come through that program. And some of them are now doing their PhDs. What we've had to do is to encourage them to change their mindsets, to understand that even though I want to do a PhD, even though I want to be an astrophysicist, my voice still counts at the policy level, and I can do both. You can transition into leadership. We have also the program that I spoke about. We call it the Young Women in Leadership Program, designed to cater for 18 to 30-year-old girls, or women, I should say, through our partnership programs or international organizations. And this is our second set. The first set, we had about 45 to 50 young ladies who participated in a training program. We developed their skills, advocacy, policy planning, review of legislation, seeing life through gender lens, reviewing the legislation, and it was the budget at the time, to review the legislation to see whether we needed to make a shift in one area or another to accommodate the changes at the time, which was COVID-19 that we were experiencing. And we are now doing our second cohort, which is another 45 to 50 young women in that age group who will again get the chance to go through that training exercise over a period of about 8 weeks and experience what other leaders, other women leaders have gone through. They have a mentoring program where other members from the alumni of the Young Women in Leadership offer assistance to them as mentees, as mentors. And we help them in the deportment, how they dress and prepare themselves for the debate. And they come into the house at the end of the session and they debate. We have a setup of 17 for the Senate and 17 for the upper house. And there's a discourse. There are also women who sit in the seat as the clerk, as the sergeant at arms, and so they get to understand what we do as parliamentarians. Not just that we have this process that is formal and we look all nice and dandy, but it's actual work that people that you can identify with and relate to, that they participate in. And so we help them to understand what we do as parliamentarians. There's a lot that we do. I'm telling you, there's a lot that we do.
It's
we don't have enough
remarkable
time.
to hear about
Yes.
this comprehensive explanation of the initiatives that you just explained to us about, in terms of the work that you're doing to encourage more and more women to be empowered, realize their dreams, and bring them up to leadership positions. It's interesting to hear because we operate in a very different context because of the nature of our democracy, because of the manner in which we function, because of the representation of political parties in our parliament, and that's where we have a lot to learn. Yeah. You would have heard our Prime Minister speak about India's democratic journey over the years, and how initially when India got independent in 1947, there were doubts that democracy wouldn't thrive in a country like ours because of the huge population, because of the diversity that we have. But the fact that we've quelled all those doubts and we've emerged now as the 4th largest economy in the world, soon 3rd largest economy we will be. How do you look at this journey, and how do you think India, which is not just the world's largest democracy, it's often referred to as the mother of democracy, can help smaller countries, the emerging democracies, to adapt to these democratic values and prove to the world that democracy and development go hand in hand?
Yes, and I think because we have a shared history as members of the Commonwealth, the institutions such as CSPOC are very important to help us realize the goals that India has attained in terms of their democratic development. We have always been a good friend of India, and India has always been a good friend to our country. And we expect that we will continue to learn as much as we can from your development. I think every aspect of our lives now is touched, and it concerns the work that you're doing here in your country to develop and become the fast-paced, fast-track, 3rd leading economy in the world. And so we look forward to benefiting. In the process of today's session, and even overnight, we discussed how we as a grouping in the region, because we have at least 2 separate groupings in our Caribbean territory. We have the OECS, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, 8-member grouping, and the CARICOM, which is a broader base. And within those organizations, we're looking at how do we, as parliamentarians, leverage this opportunity to seek to have assistance from India in developing our parliamentary structure, in developing our parliamentary practices, and improving the infrastructure that we offer. Because if you are the mother and you have done it all, we just need to learn and suckle. Yes.
And in that outreach that India has made towards development cooperation, how do you think parliamentary diplomacy strengthens that effort?
Conversations are always important, and it's a learning exercise, and exchanges are critical to development. As I've explained, had it not been for me being a part of the process and being engaged in this networking opportunity, I probably would still be lost, or I may not have been in the seat for this long a time. And so it's very important that the dialogue takes place.
Finally, as we wrap up our conversation, what is the best memory that you carry back home after this event, but also following your visit to our country?
The best memory is the hospitality, but more so the flowers. I enjoyed the flowers, but
there are plenty in
lots,
Parliament.
a lot. I'm in heaven right now. But I enjoyed the opportunity to see a number of my colleagues I haven't seen in a long time, even though we seem to live so close by to each other. And I love the camaraderie. It feels like we're all family. Even though, we might not have met each other at all before, it feels like we are united in purpose. And because of that, we can easily have that conversation and exchange. Even here, I feel so warm and, it's so comfortable here.
Thank you. It's an honor to have
pleasure.
had you here. Thank you for taking our time for this very interesting conversation we've had across a whole range of issues, right from the importance of CSPOC to some of the best practices that we can learn from each other. The CSPOC is all about sharing best practices. It's been an absolute honor to have you here. Thank you once again for your time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. All the
And
best.
to you viewers, thank you very much for your time as well.